So this class is going to be about use of rope as a self-defense tool. There are a lot of different weapons in history, rope, chain, flexible weapons. We're going to look at the underlying principles of them. Now for this class, I wanted to kind of make it into thirds. So about a third of it is going to be knots, a few things that none of which are hard, but may not be in your standard repertoire. You know what I mean? The second thing is technique, how to actually use the rope, actual movements to use. And the third one is history. So definitely want to give a little bit of the history behind some of the weapons, some of the techniques that we're going to do today. Awesome. So the first thing that we're going to, he just had to pressure wash that sign today, didn't he? We'll see how long that takes. I bet it takes right at an hour. What do you bet? All right. So first thing we're going to talk about today is Hojo Jutsu. And the reason that I start with that is because that's the way my rope bundles are set up. So I have bundles for everybody, and my class will basically progress through the bundle. I have more to teach today than we can get to, and that's okay. So I have handouts, I have things that you can take home that will give some of the details, some of the principles that we're going to work on. So now, Hojo Jutsu is the basically art of tying and binding. So back in Edo period Japan, which had been about 1600s to late 1800s, that was prior to handcuffs. They did not have handcuffs there at that time. So they carried around these small bundles of rope. And when they, thank you, and when they would arrest somebody, they would use this to tie and basically hog tie or bind somebody. To go into a little bit of the history of it, Japan is something else. It has a tendency to take any one little aspect and raise it to an art form. You know what I mean? Whether it's flower arranging, whatever it is, there is an entire art to it. Now, for tying and binding, there is two different categories. There is Han Nawa and Haya Nawa. Haya Nawa is fast rope, right? So Han Nawa is like presentation rope. So the fast rope, the Haya Nawa, is what they would use to make the arrest, right? So someone's struggling, they take him to the ground, and then they make the arrest using a fast technique. Hanawa is amazing. It is intricate. All right. It is, I mean, if this is popping in my head, you like take 3 or 4 people and like tie them in that, and you could lay them on your table. See what I did. It is beautiful, beautiful, intricate knotwork. And there are hundreds of them, literally hundreds of different ways of tying and binding that was used to present the prisoner to the court, to the judge. And all of these different ways of tying and binding were specific to the crime that they committed, specific to the station that they had. So if you were a peasant, if you were a samurai, if you were a merchant, you would be tied differently. When you were led through the village to the courthouse, people would be able to see that is a merchant who is accused of arson. You know what I mean? So amazing history, hundreds of different ties that they had for all different classes. We're going to take a look at a simple one today, one of the Hayanawa techniques, just to kind of give an example. Now, this class today is going to cover a lot of different things, and each little thing could be its own class. So this is going to be an introduction. It's not going to make an expert of anybody. Again, I have handouts. If you want to pursue it farther, there's information there that you can look into and get a better idea of some of the other things that you can do. All right. Now, I do want to say, some people here probably know the word shibari. This is not that. Not that. This way predates that and is not related. All right. The technique I'm going to show you today is actually from a 1940s policeman's manual for arresting suspects. All right. This was used, the origins of it actually go back almost 1,000 years to battlefield, where they would have the cord that they would tie their katana to their belt. They would capture a soldier, use his cord to bind him to take a prisoner. So, may I borrow you, sir? Now, this is a little bit smaller than what we would normally see. All of yours are 11 feet, and that is because of what we're going to be doing with it later. Traditionally, this would have been around 15 to 20 feet for the Hayanawa bundle. The Hannawa could be upwards of 100 feet. So, and there's examples of that in the handouts that it's a little bit windy, not too bad, but I'll hold off on handing those out just yet. Sound good? All right. So, this bundle is designed for the policeman to take out of his pocket, out of his sleeve, and to trap, hold, and dispense out of the hand. Right? So if you'll notice the little knot at the bottom, that is what's holding it. So if you tug on the loop at the top, it will not come out because that knot at the bottom is holding it. All right? So if you grab my shirt, whatever. So from here, if I have someone and I'm having to come here, turn in, take it down to the ground. From here, I'm being very nice.
I volunteered for this beforehand. I'm okay.
Yes. This could just be so much more unpleasant.
Yes.
So from here, I place my knee right there on the arm to hold that down, and then I grab my bundle out of my pocket, pull the pin like a grenade, pop that, and now I can dispense out of my hand and grab one hand, pull it behind his back, and start doing my rap. Does that make sense? Now, thank you for that.
Yes,
So, nobody's going on the ground today. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Still on. So, nobody is going on the ground today. But I do have certain aspects of this that we'll need a partner to train with. So, if you wouldn't mind, look around you, find somebody you don't hate too much, and say hi. So, may I borrow you again?
Yep.
So, to start off and demonstrate, let's pretend that our partner is on the ground, all right? We're going to avoid the knee locks, the joint locks, elbow lock, all of that for the moment. We're just going to focus on the rope aspect. I'm going to pop that out. Now I can pull this out of my hand, all right? And again, this would have been a few feet longer in traditional. Now, the small loop on the end, that is used to make my starting loop. So from there, I tuck through, and that's going to make my first loop. If I have his hand behind me, I'm going to make one, and that's my starting. All right? Hey. Now, from the martial arts aspect, let me talk just for a second about rate of force development. So RFD. That says, here, let me just demonstrate this real fast before we get to that. So turn around. Let me explain first. So rate of force development says that if you have 100 fibers in your muscle, you cannot activate all 100 of them at the exact same time. So if there's a heavy box, you don't just lift it. You set and lift. That little quarter second allows you to fully engage your muscle. Does that make sense? So if you hold your hand out, please. Now, don't let me push it down. All right? So if I push, he's able to engage his entire muscle to resist me. All right? But if I pulse, that's what I'm doing. That pulsing is I'm hitting that quarter second each time I pulse, where he can't engage all of his muscle fibers, and I'm working with 30% of his strength instead of 100%. So a lot of jiu-jitsu, a lot of judo, a lot of those type of martial arts will use that technique. If they have someone down and they're too strong, they'll pulse it to get that arm lock or whatever they're trying to get. Does that make sense? So that's just a hint. Don't bother trying that on your partner today. So a lot of these things you can take home and practice. Fair enough? So pulsing, yes. So not a steady pressure, but jerking down. You know what I mean? So
The difference between a screwdriver and an impact hammer.
there you go. Yes, yes. Impact hammers work.
Yes.
All right. So getting back to this. So I chose this side this time. It doesn't matter. So could you turn and face the lovely scenery over there? So I have it here at this point. Now I'm going to jerk. I'm going to pull up until it gets to the middle of his back. Now again, pretend that he's on the ground at the moment, right? So I'm going to continue to dispense. I'm going to grab, and I'm going to come here and rake down to get it between him and the floor. All right? That's going to be unpleasant. That's going to be a little bit of rug burn right there. All right? So from there, I'm here, come across, rake down, back, and I'm ready to tie the second hand. All right? Now, this second loop we will get to in a minute. We won't go to this point when we work on the second loop, but I want everyone to try to get to this point, and then we'll start from a fresh point when we start back. So grab your partner and see how that works. Thank you. Do what?
Move out front. I mean, I got it going around the neck, but then where'd you go?
Certainly. So turn that way if you would. So once I had the hand here, I came up to this shoulder, came down around the back, then up to the other shoulder. Let me see. Oh yeah. Let's see. Using that hand. There we go. There. From here to here, then from around the back to there, then over this shoulder to the hand.
Can you do it again? Can you put it on his arm and do it?
Certainly.
I missed it too.
All right.
I'll turn around so you can see what the front is.
So
Yes.
Going around the right, over the right shoulder.
So the hand, whatever's connected to the hand, goes the opposite shoulder. So from there,
On the opposite.
I'm going to rake down, come across,
Okay.
under the hand.
Okay.
Then
Back on the other side, right?
up on this side, rake down, and come to here.
Okay.
And if you'll turn around,
So it's kind of crossing, but it's not like looped around my neck. It's coming across.
yes. Thank you. All right. I said there were hundreds of these, correct? I selected the nice one.
Thank you.
There is only a couple, and this was one of them, that do not encircle the neck. Most of them are designed with a loop around the neck where if they struggle, they will pass out. There is nothing in Edo period Japan that is George Floyd friendly. Fair enough? So, by modern policing standards, these techniques would not be used. So, there is actually still some Hojo-jutsu used in Japan today. But again, this particular style, not so much where it encircles the neck. You know what I mean? So, in the handout, we'll have a few examples. For instance, that loop that I made for the wrist, if you make it larger, start with the head. And then do a handcuff knot halfway down the back. Know what I mean? And usually for the Hayanawa, they would finish, again, most people wore sandals. They did not have our tennis shoes. They would finish by tying the big toe with the remainder of the rope so they cannot escape. Now, chain sennit, everybody knows chain sennit, shortening up the rope. When they're ready to grab them and pull them up, They would take the remainder that was not tied, make a chain sennit out of it, and they would lead them with that leash. And that gave a little bit of springiness to where if they suddenly jerk, it doesn't pop out of their hand immediately. Does that make sense? So now we're going to take a look at finishing off the second wrist. We'll talk about putting this back into a bundle. It's really simple. Nothing beyond anybody here. All right? But we'll talk about that at the end of the Hojojutsu section, which yes. All right. So they have different names for different knots. For clove hitch, they have turtle knot, which I really like that name. So that is now my name for that knot forever. So when you finish off there, and you have this coming up to the neck, you have this coming down that would then go to the toes or something like that, or make the chain sennit out of. I think everybody here knows never, ever, ever use a constrictor knot on a person. Not good. So clove hitch, not constrictor. They will finish off. They will do that. They will do a handcuff knot. Their version of the handcuff knot is 3 loops, pass either end through the coil, and that's their handcuff knot. So I know there's like 3 or 4 different versions. That's the kind that they normally do. But looking at the clove hitch, you can do a clove hitch on your partner here in a minute, and then we're going to practice a new knot. So I am not going to say that this knot I'm going to teach is awesome, is the end-all be-all of knots, but it is a traditional Japanese knot that may not be in your repertoire. All right? So it's called Otoko Musubi. Otoko Musubi is man's knot. Good.
So can I ask a question real quick?
Please.
So in this case, like if we were finishing what we'd started,
Yes.
so this is going to be up behind my back.
Yes.
And then as you come back across that second shoulder,
Yes.
you're finishing with a turtle knot or a clove hitch around this wrist.
Correct.
Are you then also adding the handcuff knot on top of that?
No.
Or
No.
it would be
That is a separate tie.
separate time. Okay.
Yeah. If you came around the neck first
Oh, got it.
and went down to a handcuff knot,
Then you would, so that when they struggle,
it chokes
choking.
themselves.
Got it.
Yeah. To continue. One thing I want to back up and say real fast. You remember how I said that the fast ones were Haya Nawa, which is fast rope, and then the presentation rope was Han Nawa. So Nawa means rope. So a fun little fact. The string of islands known as Okinawa is rope on the sea. So I was so pleased when I found out that fact. Now, thank you. All right. I need this for this one. Now, the knot we're going to work on is called Otoko Musubi, which means man's knot. And it is kind of unique in that you don't have access to one end. You barely have access to the other end. And I have made a knot, and I want to seal it off so it can't come undone. Because clove hitch, it's not a super tight knot. All right? They might be able to get out of that. So I want to bind the ends of it so it can't come undone. That makes sense? So we're going to work on that. So, would you mind sticking your arm out? There we go. All right. Let me see. There we go. So, my presentation rope. So, when I have the knot here, it is not that difficult of a knot, but it's a fun one. Does not work great in slick ropes. So again, way back then, it would have been hemp, something of that nature. They tend to, I was telling someone else, they tend to coat it in various things such as blood to help preserve the rope and to add some texture. The knot is, everybody can see, I make a turnover loop on one side. Other side pops up, pull down. And I'm going to cinch and tighten that. Once I do that, now if I pull this, it comes undone. So I'm going to make one twist, come up, and then capture that. So now I can yank on both sides. That's not going to tighten this loop. And if you take it from the other side, if you try to open the loop, it won't come undone. So really handy knot for this very specific situation. All right? Of course. I figured I'd have to do it a few times. So, basically, yes.
Yeah, so it's
So,
like a loop with half hitching.
I was telling someone, there's several versions of otokomusubi. Otokomusubi is their version of our bow tie, right? If I say, okay, finish it off with a bow, you know what to do. We have shoes. That might be a trouble for them over there that don't normally do that. So man's knot, otokomusubi, also called fence knot. It has like 4 or 5 different names. That is their common everyday knot that they use. Fence knot, if you want to get on YouTube and take a look, they have bundles like we use in the Hojo Jutsu, and they will lash and pull tight with a otokomusubi, a man's knot. Snip it, go to the next crossing, and then tie it and dispensing it out of their hand the whole time. So, very handy knot. Cultural knot. So, if anybody has one on their wrist and wants to let their partner follow along, this would be a good time for that. So take one side. Let's be consistent. We'll say the left side. Take the left hand side and make a loop facing up and just kind of hold it there. There. Everybody got that? Take the other side. Take a bite. Pass it through. Hold it. And pull your other loop closed. Got that? The last one is super easy. Take, again, the same side, the right-hand side, twist a loop, pass it over the first, and pull tight. All right, so you have your rope. It is unwound now. Very quickly, I will demonstrate how we made the bundle. Not hard, straightforward. I'm going to put the end loop on my pinky. There we go. And I'm going to kind of make a C with my hand. All right, I'm not going to have white out. I'm going to have a C. And I think with this length of rope, I counted 14 passes. So I'm going to come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm making a figure 8. So I lost count myself. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14. There we go. So you should be ended right up at where the pinky is. All right. So from there, I'm going to grab the bundle and pull it off and maintain it with my other hand. Good. Now the loop, I'll kind of show you what I'm doing. The loop here, I don't want to trap that knot in, so I'm going to pull this loop up a little bit to get that knot clear of the bundle. Now, this down here got shortened up. This bottom loop is very important, so I'm going to tug and make it the same length at the bottom. So now the one up here is short. All right. Once I've done that, I will take it and wrap back down itself. So starting at the loop end, I'm going to take it and just start wrapping back down itself. And from there, after a couple passes, now I can start to get tight.
Almost exactly how I do my little, I have a keychain bit that I keep on my keychain.
Yes.
I do it almost exactly this same
Now,
way because it's quick deploy.
I used to have a quick deploy bracelet that I always had on me, and it was annoying to put back together. So for the last 5 years, I have had a leather holder in my pocket that has my Leatherman on one side, screwdriver bits in the middle, and this on the left. So this is what I carry 24/7, unless I'm not carrying it because if I was on an airplane. But very handy bundle. Quickly pull it out. Takes about a minute to put back together. It's fast, easy, and it doesn't get tangled if you throw it in a bag. So once I get towards the end, all right, I'm going to tug on my loop just gently to see which one, there it is, which one is connected to it. So now that I know which little loop is connected to my front loop, I'm going to take my end and pass it through like that. So now we're going to get into some more combat style techniques. All right. So I'm going to.
You still need me, or should I?
At the moment, no.
Okay.
At the moment.
I'll get out of here.
So I like to classify flexible weapons in 3 categories: short, medium, and long. I know it's really hard, but short is primarily used by one hand. So example of that would be slingshot. So everybody familiar with the history of sailing knows these were used to Shanghai people, to come up behind them and give them an unpleasant headache. All right. So this would be primarily needed for one hand. Medium would be 1 or 2 hands. So example of that would be manriki, traditional to Japan, where I can use both hands to block, and I can also use it to strike. All right. So third category is long. Long would be. Whoop. Thank you. Yep. So long would be primarily for use by 2 hands. So example of that would be my favorite weapon, the Saruchan. Also the rope dart that I have here. All right. So this would be used more for casting techniques, things of that nature. All right. So we'll get into that here in a little bit. First thing I want to get at is blocking. Now, what I'm going to talk about, I know is going to be intuitive for everybody here, but it's so important that I want to take just a minute to stress how important it is. All right? May I borrow you? So, I want you. So, very fortunate to have someone working with me who is much larger, stronger than I am, to be able to show that these things actually work and why it's important. All right. So I want you, if you would, to just wrap your hands and then hold it about like that. Okay. All right. There you go. With a nice V in it. There we go. Now, this bucket is probably about 6-7 pounds. It is literally filled with lead weight. All right. 6-7 pounds, anybody here can lift very easily. This setup right here is a very common physics problem for anybody that wants to know how to rig something, how to suspend something. And the formula for it is actually going to be on your sheet. I think it was mass times g, gravity, over 2 times the sine of theta. All right. So sine, I said that sine was in the bottom, correct? Over 2 sine theta. So sine's in the bottom. Math does not like to divide by 0. Am I right? So as that approaches 0, you get a vertical asymptote, right? Where the graph does this, correct? So right now, the easiest way to describe this is the force that he needs is the ratio of this side of a triangle and this side of a triangle. So right now, about 50% of his weight or strength is going towards lifting this bucket. The other 50% is being wasted in horizontal tension. So go ahead and pull it straight, please. All right. There we go. You see that little dip there? There's a little bit of dip. He's really trying hard right now. About 90%, 95% of his strength is being wasted in horizontal tension. And the last little bit is lifting this 8-pound bucket. All right? So that means, thank you. That means it's not just hard. It's not just difficult. It is physically impossible to maintain a frozen rope under pressure. So we need to figure out how to effectively block. So blocking with a flexible weapon, chain rope, is different from any other kind of weapon. I have some of these here.
About 120 degrees is where you have about 100% in both directions.
Nice. So
you can approximate that with this.
Would you mind passing down? You only need one of these per 2 people. So if you would, and I'll take one and pass down. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Perfect. All right. That should be everybody. All right. So these are my trainers. I use these in class because if I hold both hands, thumb inward, I can represent a Manrique chain. If I put one hand out, I can represent the middle portion of a Saruchan, rope dart, something of that nature. All right. So this is a really nice way to test. All right. So if you would stand here, please, and go ahead and put your arm out again like you did for me before. Actually, we'll go here.
Like, well,
yeah. So this is something I want you all to feel, because if I hold this straight and I come down on your arm, you see that? So if I try to maintain a straight rope when he comes down in a hammer strike, something of that nature, it is going to bend. I might get hit anyway. So what I want to do is I want to meet it with a bend already in it. I want most of my strength going into stopping that strike, and then I want to return energy back into him. All right? So put your arm out again. So now if I come here and I start here, you know those exercise machines, the cable machines? You know how you do tricep exercises like this? That's the movement. All right? Down and out. So from here, there. All right? Arm out, here, up, here, side. Whatever direction I'm wanting to block, that is 10 times more powerful than trying to come down with the frozen rope, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I want you to try that with each other and feel what the difference is. All right? So try the straight first, and then try with a bend popping downward.
Yeah, you can even see, like, if you hold this up like that, like, I can...
with your finger.
One finger, I can kind of like...
With your one finger, you're putting bend in it. Yeah, let alone a full-on strike. Now let's talk about what we can use that for, because that simple block can be used for a lot of things. So, if you come down with like a knife strike, all right, here, I come back there, and now he's about to have a really bad day. Mm-hmm. All right? So that's going to be very unpleasant for him. Other things I can use it for, if he gets close to me in a clinch, that same movement can come into here to pop the head back. Pop up, and then I can come down to go straight down. All right? Anyone who's done martial arts before, from here, a straight down force does not go well with the body.
Hold the head, control the body.
Exactly. Head goes where the body... That's it. That is it. So, a couple other things we can use this for. Stand right here if you would. So, if I want to come in low, I can come in here and do a knee collapse. I can come into the collarbone and do a press down. All right? If he's too close to me, I can come corner to corner and do a pop out to get him off of me. And again, all of these can be used if I have the longer weapon. I've done it. I've swung it. He comes into clinch range. And now I use the middle to pop off and get my range back to where I can use the other end of the weapon. Does that make sense? All right. Now, we are, all right. I said I had more to cover than I could do today. So, We'll get as far as we can. For the, let's talk a little bit about the physics of one of these swung weights. All right. So I have, would you mind passing one of those out to everybody? I have a small 2-ounce weight that you can add to the end of your rope. Not the loop end. Go ahead and use the other end. Just untie that little knot at the back end and fasten this on. I know everybody here is going to have your preference for which knot to attach that with. I only ask that it stay on there. Fair enough? I'm more concerned with security than I am, the small knot. Yes, that end. That end. So, oh, got it? Cool. So while you're doing that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the physics of a swung rope. When I swing a rope, it has circular movement, correct? When I cut the rope, does it maintain that circular movement? No. No. Once I let go, it goes straight, correct? So it actually does exactly what I do when I'm trying to teach. It flies off on a tangent. So, when I want to cast it, I like moving upward because it gives a much better cast. If I do downward, it's really hard to not have it strike the ground. You know what I mean? But we don't have much room, so we're going to do this half and half. So one person of your pair can get a small loop and then let it slide through. And if it falls, that's fine. We're going to work on what to do after you do that here in just a second. All right? Go ahead. So, exactly. So one person out of your pair, go ahead. So get a feel for upward circular movement. Let it slide, hopefully in a forward direction. All right, everybody got that? Pretty simple. If the other person hasn't yet, go ahead and try. There we go. All right. Now, the thing about a flexible weapon. Once I release it, and especially if it hits a target, flexible weapons have pluses and minuses. So let me go talk about some of the pluses. Pluses are, I can take this and I could have 20 flexible weapons on me and nobody would know. Kind of hard to do that with a bow staff. All right. Another plus is, if you put your hand up in a side block, if he tries to block this, it doesn't block. I will hit him anyway. Somewhere I will hit him. So it is very hard to block a flexible weapon. Now, minuses. I don't know where it is after it leaves my hand. So let's talk about how to mitigate that. So once I've cast it, it's hit somebody, it hasn't, it's gone round. I'm the only part of this weapon that I know exactly where it is right now is this hand, exactly where it exits this hand. All right. So once I do my movement, I'm going to come here and draw through. All right. So I really don't have the room here to do a circular overhead, but man, that is awesome for this demonstration because I can pop it, withdraw, pop it, withdraw, pop it, withdraw. But from here, cast, draw, cast, draw. So you see how I am letting go and then finding it again with my other hand pulling through. Does that make sense?
What happens if it gets tangled up in your target?
That is an excellent question. All right. There are techniques and moves for that. Realistically, you probably want that. So if it gets tangled up in them,
So you just
I can pull in, hammer with the other end, or whatever I need to do. I can come in with a loop, the Manriki style techniques, loop. So that's actually a boon for me at that point. Now, if you grab onto the end, we'll just go ahead and talk about this since we're on the subject. All right. Remember how I talked about the angles and how it changes how much force you can use? If he yanks on my rope right now, he might be able to pop it out of my hand. All right. So if it's not entangled, if it is captured, I want to immediately come in here. Now I've created a triangle. So all of his pulling, part of it is going to my hand, but a lot of it is getting wasted in tension. And from here, I can step in close, knee strikes, hammer, whatever I need to do from there. Thank you. So excellent question. So lots of different techniques on that. Again, we can't cover everything today. There's a lot more out there. I'm just trying to give an introduction. Does that make sense? So, grabbing and pulling. You can, if you're just doing a simple cast, you can just let it slide and pull back. So that works too. Like that. So if you don't need to let go of it, or if you don't want to do a full range cast. All right. If I want to do a full 7-8 foot cast with this hand out here, I'll have to let go of it and then recover it. So, yes, sir.
How many times did you whack yourself when you were learning?
A lot. That, there you go. That is why you start out with a rope and a tennis ball, not a rope and a rock. Yes. Just like bow staff, they have a stance which is left-handed hip, right hand up. Now, traditionally, that is what you do. Some of the rope dart has recent years been starting to do left and right-handed side things, but really, traditionally, it's going to be left-handed hip, right hand up, because they didn't believe in left-handers. I'm one of them, I know. So, what I would like you to do, what you were just doing, is cast, pull through, upward, cast, pull through, just to get the feel of recovering a flexible weapon. Go ahead. There we go. So rope dart, traditionally a little bit longer than Saruchan, kind of close to the rope that you have at the moment. This was traditionally fastened to one hand. I don't like that. I do not like that at all. But that is the traditional. I'll show you a better way here in just a second. All right. Now, remember how I said when you cut the rope, it goes in a straight direction, right? I can use that to change direction. I don't think we'll take time to practice it right now, but just so that you're aware, and I think it's in the handout as well, when I do a downward spin, you can do it any direction, but it works really well when you get to about there, all right? I'm going to suddenly extend my hand in the direction of the weapon, and that will instantly kill the circular motion, all right? So when I'm here, pop, and now I'm circling the other direction. Pop. It works really well on the 45s. So just popping your hand in the direction of the weapon at that moment allows me to kill the circular movement and change direction quickly, which it takes a while for it to really stop if I don't do that pop. Know what I mean? Now, I mentioned going into a better way of doing this. All right. Now, this one is actually not traditional to rope dart or any of those other weapons. This is traditional to billy clubs. All right. So 40s, 50s, people who had billy clubs would wrap it around their hand like this. So I'm going to hook my thumb over the back of my hand and grab. All right. Now, may I borrow you? Take this. Now, I'm going to have a loose grip. Loose grip. Go ahead and jerk. All right, go ahead, jerk. You see that? When I want to, it stays on my hand. Someone can't get it away from me. But now it's stuck in a bush, and this guy's attacking me. Now pull. You're good. When I want to, I straighten my hand and it instantly lets go. But even just a light curl and it's not going anywhere. So that's in your handout as well. Play with that. Try that at home. That's a really good way of doing this. You need a kind of a large loop. The small loop that you have at the moment will kind of catch on the thumb. But a nice large loop like that really makes a good grip that I can quickly let go if I need to. Does that make sense? All right.
What's the reason for the traditional style versus the new? Is it just
Security,
loss?
fear of loss.
Yeah.
So there is a downside to this, is that I have to have more mental concentration to maintain hold. With the other one, I don't have to think about it at all. Does that make sense? So, all right, thank you, buddy. I want to talk for those extra couple minutes and just kind of show you some of the things that we weren't able to get to today. All right? So, Saruchan, long weapon. And if you have some rope out and you want to try this right now, it's not hard. But if I take the ends and I put my 2 fingers out and I grab opposite sides, now I have the Manriki style where I can block, parry, cast, swing, catch, come back to here. So this is a really good way of shortening and lengthening your weapon. All right, is just to come with thumbs in, 2 fingers out, grab the opposite ends, pull tight. So really good way to shorten. Most cultures, almost every weapon that is flexible has an element of surprise in it. All right, it is a surprise weapon. If your opponent knows your true reach, you messed up. So you want them to be very surprised when they find out that you can reach them. Does that make sense? So you want to start with a collapsed rope, no matter what kind of way it might be. For the rope dart has a few other things that they do that is not traditional to some of the other styles. They do things like coming over, making wraps. And now from here, I have it wrapped up. I have my Manriki length. And then from there, I can cast back to surprise. Does that make sense? So they have a lot of different wraps that they can do. There was something else I was going to show with that. It is. So there's flags. If you'll notice in traditional rope dart, meteor hammer, there is flags right behind the weapon. And that is actually on purpose. It is not just for show. So this serves the same purpose as a feathers on a shuttlecock. It aligns the flight when it goes. If that little bit of drag makes this spike hit spike first instead of sideways. Does that make sense? So, there was that. All right. The portion of the handout, actually, if you wouldn't mind going ahead and passing out the handouts, that would be awesome. Thank you. So the portion of the handout that I was not able to get to at all was making a sling. It is not hard. It is very easy. You can easily follow those directions I put on there. They're stapled. Oh, I think one of my copies is on top.
Okay.
There,
there we go.
they're stapled. There we go.
The rocks, are those always the same length, or is that the practitioner's choice?
Excellent question. So for the Saruchan, it is 1.5 times arm length.
Oh, okay. So there is a.
It is custom to the person. Rope dart tends to be a bit longer. It just tends to be twice arm length, or even a little bit longer. There we go. Thank you, buddy. Huh?
The weight of the box.
The weight is usually about 8 ounces, 8 to 10 ounces. Yeah. So, excellent question. One thing I want to end with, if you'll notice in your handout, there's a section with green and yellow rope that is about how to make a sling. And that is very simple, very straightforward. Sheep shank, and then you pass the ends through to lock it into a pouch for the sling. On one end, you tie a double overhand knot. And anybody that wants to, I have slings on my table, and so do you. So come by, we'll show you how to use them, how they would be held to projectile. Everyone here might be interested in the loop knot for the finger. It is a Honda knot. So that is a famously known for lassoing, right? Where they use a Honda knot. However, Honda is Spanish for sling. So this knot goes back quite a bit. All right. So it's a good knot because it's very simple. Once you tie it, it maintains its diameter under tension. When it's not under tension, it is very easily adjustable. So you can slide it on, tighten it, use it, loosen it up, and take it off. So really nice knot for this purpose. Of course, there's lots of other knots out there, but I thought y'all would appreciate that one. And I have gone a few minutes over. Anybody have any questions, thoughts, comments? Thank you. Now, thank you. Once you take the person and throw them to the ground, like I just almost did earlier, the thing you have to do next is do this. Are you not entertained? Okay.
Scott, we want to thank you for your time and your expertise and sharing that with all of us here this weekend.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to thank you and present you with this little memento of our appreciation.
Very generous. Thank you very much. Awesome. Cool. Thank you very much. Again, if you have any questions, please come talk to me. I love yakking about this.